welcome to Gather Together. Hi there, I'm Yelta, and I'll be buying the first round while we chat about Final Fantasy XIV. This is episode 192. Pull up a chair and join us. On the menu tonight, a New Year's greeting from Yoshida, and a new mysterious message to go with it. Final Fantasy XIV is sponsoring Games Done Quick 2020, updates on the live-action Final Fantasy XIV series, and we'll dig into the mud for Popatos again with a look at the official forums. They're a mess, y'all. But first, let's shoot the shit. What has been going on this week? Hey, Ruby.
Hey, Yelta. What's up?
Not much.
Another week. We actually skipped last week for New Year's, so happy New Year's, everybody. This is the first episode of Gather Together for the new year, 2020. We're in the future. Can you believe this shit? We live in 2020 now.
Oh
I think
my
it's
God.
actually fucking wild that we live in 2020. Like, I mean, Yelta and I are old people. You know,
I'll
we're...
hit you with my cane.
Yeah, I'm like, we grew up on, you know, like space shit by 2020. You know, we were supposed to have hoverboards 5 years ago.
The moon by now and shit, or
for show, and we ain't doing any of that, you know. And I don't know who to blame. Yeah, that's probably it. You know, we're spending all our money on rockets to other countries instead of to space. So anyway, 2020, we're here. We may not be in space, but we're on the first. We're in Eorzea, and you know what else could we ask for, right? If the world around you is crumbling, just enter into your fantasy world. And for us, that's Eorzea, and we shall hide here. It's been good, but I did New Year's shit, and then I don't know if you can hear. I'm gonna play at everybody's sympathy right now. Violin music, please. I am very sniffly, and I was tweeting like a little bitch today about how I was in pain and I didn't feel good. I laid on the carpet in my office. I sucked my thumb a little bit. You know, my son comforted me. My 2-year-old son comforted me. And anyway, no. So I've been kind of a bit under the weather, and my wife was ill for a few days. Thank God, knock on wood. My baby boy has not been sick. So anyway, that being said, I got Heaven's Turn done. Heaven's Turn is taken care of, and we can talk about Heaven's Turn. I know we talked about like the prizes and stuff. I don't know that I had shared my experience with Heaven's Turn yet. I don't think we have shared that. It was short and sweet, but not as short as some other years. It wasn't like click 2 people. There was, you know, click a few people and then run and go do a thing and come back.
Slightly different. It wasn't like wildly different or anything, but I don't think we usually expect too much from Heaven's Turn.
No. Typically, we don't expect a whole lot out of Heaven's Turn, but this time you did do a fate, and the fate is not pounding mochi. It's fight.
Slapping
so
mochi.
Okay. Yeah, you are. You're fighting some mochi, some possessed mochi. So I've heard it's fun on Blue. I heard.
That's what I did it on. Yep.
It's another reason to take your Blue out there, but yeah, and then it's over quick. You come back, and then you know everybody thanks you. It's got Kakirin in it because you're trying to prove like rats can cook and they don't infect your food and they're lucky, and so the Kakirin helps you, and then everybody in Limsa is happy. There's a new cook in town, and you get an ugly hat. It's the kind of orange, the orangey, the goldish red or whatever you'd call it one here. It's got some brown tones in it. I'm able to wear it with my reindeer outfit and look completely stupid. I usually put the horse head on and the reindeer outfit during this time of the year because I don't know what the fuck you're supposed to wear. I guess like kimonos and shit like these fine folks are doing here at the bottom. But I usually don't wear that stuff. I wear the most ridiculous outfit. Like I wore the pig suit last year because it was the pig, year of the pig. So I'm a rat. And we only got a couple more left, Yelta, before it comes back around. I think Dragon and Ox.
There's 12, right?
There's 12, and then it's and then we're done. I guess so. This is Rat, and then next is Ox, and then it's I said Dragon, but I meant Tiger. And then it's Tiger. And then we fucking loop back around again. It's like Rabbit, and then I've been reading the Chinese New Year zodiac, so I got it memorized. Like I know I know the story, the Great Race, like how the animals go. So I was reading up on that, and I've got some little cousins we're buying books for that we're taking a trip at the end of this month, and we're visiting family, and we're having some celebrations. So I've been reading up on it, and I know that the ox comes next because the rat tricked the ox and the cat. And jumped off the ox's back and hit the finish line first. And so the ox is next after the rat. And then the tiger was the next fastest to swim across and get to the finish line there. So
all I know is what's on the back of the Chinese restaurant mats and then whatever in a fruits basket.
Sure.
That would be.
Yeah. I mean, as long as the food at the buffet is good, I'm fine with it. So yeah, that's my Heavenstern stuff. That's what I thought about it. It's okay. It's not my favorite event. I don't care for the music. I say this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Uematsu track. It's from 1.0. It was on the original soundtrack. It was one of the original, like 5 or so events that we had that first loop through. And next would have been collecting Archon eggs and the extravaganza bullshit. And I was looking at one of my son's educational videos, and it was a color one, and they had different eggs hidden in an amusement park, and they were kind of garish, glowing, these vibrant colors. And they were red and blue and purple and green. And I was like, oh, yeah, there's those eggs from 1.0. We had a shit ton of our inventory. I think you can still buy them on the auction house if you want to.
I think I've actually sold some of that, like, 1 point whatever stuff that people just, I had some on my alt character.
We did not believe Yoshida when he said these items would be worthless moving forward. I still have a ton of 1.0 items that I still think... Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I still think, like, at some point he's going to pull some shit, and suddenly that wanted poster for Gwyn the Garrett or whatever from a Hildebrand storyline will be worth something. I can do something with it. But sadly, no. If that was even the case, it would have been sold on the official, not auction house, but the Mog Station by now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, It's one of those things, or an itinerant Moogle would have given it to you. So, whatever. So, that is really kind of all I did in Final Fantasy XIV since the new year. I did report, in recent episodes, I had been trying to get my crafters up, and I'm not going to completely quit, but, after that live letter, we got that information about, not having to have all your crafters to 80 to meld. That was kind of my whole thing. If you go back a few episodes, I was talking about leveling my carpenter so I could start melding that stuff and then work on the others. And it's like, well, why am I even working on the others if I can meld with this one? I can just take it slow if I want to, right? I don't even know what the next fucking phase of Doodle will look like. So, maybe I should just take it slow and level up through the next phase, or, do Fates whenever Ishgard Restoration changes over. So, I don't know. I'll probably get back to it eventually, but it really did burst my bubble, and it kind of goes on the train, and I'm not going to beat a dead horse. We're going to go to the official forums later, and I think some of those threads are pretty prevalent of the whole dumbing down of systems to make things easier. I do agree with the dumbing down when you talk about slimlining, because, I don't know if we're even at the point where 1.2.3 needs to be 1.1.1, but it might be when we get to 6.0 for the battle classes. I mean, and those are the kind of streamlining things that, is it streamlining, is it slimming down, or are we making this just so stupid that somebody can just bash their head against the keyboard and get the deal done. But we'll save that for the official forums. We'll be going there before terribly long. I just kind of lost motivation, so I have been playing other games. I hadn't just curled up in a ball and died. For whatever reason, I've discovered that my workplace is a Pokemon Go gym, and I've been loading that up. And that's really fucked me over, Yelta. Man, you talking about motivation being gone. My motivation to work dried up. So every 5 minutes, I'm trying to spin the little deal to get more balls, because that was my biggest issue. I couldn't play Pokemon Go because I'd always run out of balls, and then I didn't know what the fuck to do. You know, I had to wait until I went somewhere. In my previous job, I'd have to walk outside. There was a St. Francis of Assisi statue just down. I don't know why, but there was. And if you go to it, it's a Pokestop, and you can spin it and get your balls or whatever. But you know, sometimes you spin those things, you get like one ball and a couple of revives and a potion or some shit, and you're like, well, I can maybe throw at one Pokemon who will bounce the ball off, and then I'm all pissed off I couldn't catch a Pokemon, because it just makes you mad. You see a new one and you can't catch it, and then you run out of balls. So it's like, well, I'm gonna build up on balls, so I gotta stand by this fucking statue all damn day, and I gotta go back to work.
So you can go take your cigarette break.
I guess so. Can you smoke next to a Catholic statue? I don't know. Maybe
I
you
don't
can.
know if God said you can't smoke. So,
well, St. Francis of Assisi didn't say that. Anyway, I don't smoke. Not cigarettes anyway. So, I was not happy with Pokemon Go, and then I was like, hey, I have a gym at my job. Now I'm happy with Pokemon Go again. I can get so many balls. I'm just, like, covered in balls right now.
Oh, my God. Ruby's covered
balls
in balls
all over me, and I love it. And it's making my Pokemon game stronger. So I'm like getting Pokecoins. I was telling Yelta earlier, like since I've got a gym, I can put my Pokemon in it, and I can get Pokecoins every day, and all this other shit. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with all of this. I'm watching guides. I'm back in it. So it's killing my workflow, and it's got to kill in my motivation to do other stuff. And I bought myself a final Christmas present, Yelta.
I saw you tweet about this. I'm very jealous.
I've been tweeting about this like crazy, and this even builds up to another device that I'm going to end up buying eventually. But I'm big into the minis. I had bought a Nintendo Mini, a Super Nintendo Mini, the Sega Genesis Mini recently when it dropped to $40. The PlayStation Mini I got for $20, and there was one other Mini that I really wanted, and this is from the way back. I was a Commodore 64 owner when I was a very small child. My father and I used to do programming. I'd sit on his lap, and if you're old school like I am, and you had like those Compute Gazette magazines, the Commodore 64 magazines, in the back would be lists of code in BASIC, and you could type those in and save them to your floppy, and you'd have some small game that was a piece of shit. And they sucked. You had something.
We typed in Sea Road to India. I remember that distinctly.
Oh, yeah.
I love that game, though.
So I grew up on this device, and there are about 25 to 40 games that are beloved to me, and only in the Commodore 64 version. And I purchased a Commodore 64 Mini when it dropped in price to about $45. I got that January 3rd or something, and I have been playing that for a week straight, just loading files and doing things. When the Commodore 64 Mini was released, you couldn't load your own games to it, but then they patched it, firmware update, where you can play from a thumbnail drive, and I've been playing all the old classics. I love it. And then I was working on, actually just, messing with those folders and making them look good and all that. And Commodore 64, it's one of those, you didn't just have one game and that was the one tried and true version of it. Even growing up, I never paid for, I think we paid for one Commodore 64 game, Yelta. We went to the store, we went to Kmart and bought Superman. And I had a Superman game because it was 2 players, and my brother and I could play it. And we actually paid probably $40 for a game on floppy. And any other game that I owned, though, were free. Because back in those days, you just need a little piece of tape to put on that little nick on the side of the floppy disk, and you put it in your disk drive. You save it to the RAM. Then you save it to a blank floppy, and you give it to your relative. And then we would go with blank floppies to my cousin's place, who would have pirated his games from somebody else.
Yeah.
And I would pirate their games and bring them back home. So I had Dig Dug and Pac-Man and Donkey Kong, Congo Bongo, Zaxxon, Boulder Dash, Mr. Duke.
Summer games.
I mean, every arcade game, pole position, you name it. I had all the arcade games, and then all the crazy niche games. Defender. Oh yeah. The Epix games and the Synapse games and all kinds of stuff. There's like 2 people in our listening audience going, hell yeah, I remember that shit.
All of our games had almost all of our games that we had cracked by screens in front of
Cracked by.
Do you remember those? The like little colored animated screens?
Do I remember? I've been playing them all fucking week, Yelta. Do I remember? But that's the crazy part. I was trying to explain that to my wife, that because I'm like constantly testing these games, she's like, why do you keep loading them up and over? Don't they work? I'm like, kind of. But I got like 7 copies of Miss Pac-Man with a different crack screen. So one is 2 trainers, one is 5 trainers. By trainers, I mean, like, do you want extra lives? Do you want to skip levels? Do you want to do it?
Yeah.
You know, hey, we had Game Genie before there was a fucking NES. I mean, you could put those, like, I want to skip levels. Yeah, I want to, hit this button, hit F7 to skip or something. And anyway, we would fuck around with that shit, have trainers, but to test all that, I'd have to check each one to see, well, what button presses, because you can configure the joysticks on this device. I was like, what button presses do I need to do and save it to this configuration to move forward? Then you have to like actually write almost like INI files for each game to get the controller settings right. So, for my 50 beloved games or so, I had to write a different configuration file for each, and then the rest of them, I just, whatever 1,500 other games. I bought a 64 gig mini thumbnail drive. It kind of stays, the little cruiser that stays hidden, the little fit. Because I got it for like $6 or something.
I can't believe how cheap they are now.
It's crazy. But, like, I can fit all these games like 50 times over. And by all, I mean like 1,500 games. It's insane the amount of what little space these Commodore games took. But if you play one, then you'll know, because they're just, little dots running around on screens and shit. They were beautiful at the time, and they're still beautiful to me. Anyway, long story short, for the 2 people still listening to this, I got my Commodore 64 Mini has been great. There is a Maxi coming out. It's already out in England, the UK. I think it'll be hitting the States before too long, and that has an actual workable keyboard. So for Commodore 64 enthusiasts, but if you're not like hardcore, like soldering shit and all that, like this is actually a good happy medium. You can still click the keyboard, play your keyboard. You play Zork on it, like all the old school shit. So that's coming out. And then I just recently read that somebody's got it cracked where they can add stuff to the carousel. So where I'm playing them now, I just go through a list of game names and I hit it. But this would be actually having box art and information screen, you visibly selecting the game. So that's incredible too. And I'll be messing with that more. So, for me, I'm kind of in a lull with 14 because there's other interests that's happening. And I work at a Pokemon gym. And, but soon. The biggest pull for me, bringing this back around to 14 and then letting Yelta take over, is my Senna, my wife, has to do Heaven's Turn. And we fucked up. She didn't realize that Heaven's Turn was on 31st, and I forgot to remind her. And she did the 5-day free thing, the 150 hours or whatever it is. And she logged in on the 1st and her time ran out. And I think we would have had time on the 31st if she had logged in and done it. But she still has to finish some of the main story quests. So it's like you might as well sub for the month and get to work on it. And luckily, my son for Christmas got one of them tablets, and we can zombie him out on a tablet for a few minutes while she knocks out a little bit of story quest. Or I could play with him. That would help too.
Yeah.
Or we could both zombie out. We'll both watch educational videos together. Why not? So, anyway, life is good. It's a new year. I'm feeling pretty motivated. I know we went through resolutions or lack thereof before, but even without having any 14 resolutions, I feel pretty good about what's coming up. I don't think there's any major lack of content as far as I know. We have one less dungeon to look forward to, but we've got that Citadel stuff coming up. We've got some more changes that are supposed to be happening to crafting and things. So
and it's next month, right? So it's
not
like
far.
It's coming. I'm very much looking forward to whatever's next. So
right. Well, tell us about it, Yelta. What'd you do this past week?
I took some time and decided for some reason I was going to. I've been trying to log in. I haven't in the last week, but I've been trying to log in every day. At least take somebody through the Beast Tribe dailies, trying to get everything from 70 to 80. And I had some extra time one day, so I just felt it. So I just went from 76 to 80 on Scholar, just spamming dungeons. And I think I didn't do horrible. One guy was like, "Awesome healing, yo," and I'm like, and it took me a minute to think if he was even being sarcastic. But I'm like, the dude didn't die. I guess maybe I'm being too hard on myself. But he literally, I even have a screenshot of it. But it's just like, but he didn't die or nothing. So I don't know why you'd be sarcastic about it. I don't know. Oh yeah, it was awesome healing, bro. And I came back with, I have no idea what I'm doing. And he's like, you're doing it. They're like, good job.
Did they die?
No. But it's pretty much like throw a shield on them. Make sure I have, is it Aether Flow? Whatever that button is, so that I can use the other heals and then try to do some damage. So almost none of my parties did huge pulls though, and the ones that did, the tanks must have known how to use their buttons. So it's always interesting where you will run the same dungeon twice in a row, and you didn't do anything except for get stronger because like a gear piece would drop or whatever, but one tank was fine and the next tank was just almost dead constantly.
Was the paladin not using clemency? Because I heard that's the fad.
Oh my god, I think paladins who use clemency are probably like me, who are chicken shits, where you start worrying that they're not keeping up with the healing. But with Scholar, once I unlocked the one that if they get down to a certain percentage, it heals them up a ton. But I was such a chicken after playing White Mage. I'm sitting there just trying to do some DPS, watching to see if that ability fires off and does it have enough, because it's got a long time too. It stays on them for a long time. But sometimes I chicken out and heal him before it even triggered, and then it felt like an idiot because it's let the kit happen. So I could see where a tank thought maybe they were getting kind of low. But Scholar has buttons to get them back up again. So I don't know. I didn't have too much trouble with it. I thought I would have more trouble. I didn't play Summoner at all, other than I did their story quests. The quest once you hit 80. I don't remember there even being any. I don't even remember if there's anything to fight on that one. I can't remember.
I don't remember the 80 quest, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's Summoner.
And then I went to look to see if the gear from What's His Doodle when you hit 80, if that was any good. But I already had casting gear and I already had healing gear, so yeah. I may have to try running something as Scholar, especially if the other healer we have is a White Mage when we do something. Because it is nice to have the shields or, I don't know. White Mage is still my love. I don't think I'm going to...
what little bit I've done with Scholar, I did not feel that it lacked for anything in 8-man content. You have so many ridiculous fairy moves. Mm-hmm. And then with changing it to Seraph, and then you could double... shield them, twice within that window that Seraph's up.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. I think the only issue, and this is where it gets into that weird gray area, where that official forum post was talking about clemency, was when a Scholar has to emergency, when you have to cure up a living dead or something,
Yep.
you've got to pump up your excogitation and your lustrates and all the other shit.
To eat your fairies so you can do another lustrate.
Yes, just some craziness to get there where the others don't have to scramble so hard maybe for that. But that's really the only situation I can think of.
When I figured out how to eat my fairy, I don't even think I ever did anything with Seraph, but like I said, I hit 80, did the quest, and that was it. Mm-hmm. So I haven't actually even used my level 80 abilities, right? So I don't know. And it would be interesting to see what Summoner's like, because back long ago, I did play some Summoner, but mostly because it was the best job to take instead of I was black maging at the time. That was Coil days, Jesus. I really haven't played Summoner for the most part since Coil days.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time ago. But it was fun getting stuff to 80, and I thought I'd maybe go in and like farm up accessories or other savage things, because I'm pretty comfortable in the on the first floor. I've only cleared the second one once, and I don't think it would be a problem now, but I keep thinking I should go back and like do more savage, but I just haven't had the desire, I guess. But part of it's also, it's like, why? We're going to be getting new gear or whatever the next patch. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to get to. And it is exciting, though, because I'm seeing like people in our free company are like clearing and farming, 4.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, getting, I saw people got their mounts and getting lots of drops and stuff. So it's exciting seeing that, but I keep chickening out of raiding. I don't know. I don't know if I don't tolerate it as well as I used to, or maybe I just need to suck it up. But, because I even don't like the EX Primal sometimes until I learn it, and then it's like, it's no big deal. So maybe I just need to do more practice. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. It's one of those things like, do you really want to force something if you know you're not in the right state of mind or something? I'm not saying you. For myself.
In general, yeah.
We were talking about this earlier, and I was mentioning how I didn't feel like there was a sense of anxiety from doing it, or a sense of dread or fear of failure so much as like, it's a pressure I don't necessarily need, because when the feeling is good with your set, the feeling is good and it keeps you going. But when you have like a couple of weeks of stall and you think, your expectations have exceeded your party's performance, then you start getting kind of antsy, kind of upset, and then you put a pressure on yourself and others and things. I tend to do that. Maybe others can distance their emotions from the play, but if I wanted some added pressure in my life, that's a good place to do it. It doesn't mean it's a negative stress. It could be a positive stress for many. But if it's an added stress on top of other stressors that you have, then you start going, do I have enough time? Yeah, do I need that? Do I have enough time to combat that, or to work through that, or will even give me a sense of accomplishment if I feel exhausted from doing too many things at the same time, So if you're not feeling that way, great. If it's just something that's like, I've never tried something before, or I'm afraid to try something. Not you, Yelta. I mean, in general. No. If somebody be afraid of doing something, or they haven't tried it before and are looking into it, I'd say jump on it, do it. It's a good time, and it sounds to me like there's plenty of help to go around out there. I think a lot of streamers too, those that have cleared, go back and help people do it, and this is that catch up time that people are helping others. So go do it.
Well, I don't always like to lock down a night or 2 nights of my life every week. I'm getting where that isn't fun for me anymore, for one thing. So even one night a week where I have to be there, because I kind of feels like, so I guess maybe the pug raiding life, or like the pug EX life, has been working good for me. If I feel like working on it, I work on it. If I don't feel like working on it, I don't. And I always get my confidence shaken when the people clear the night I couldn't make it. That always wrecks me, and it's wrecked me many times in our raiding. You and I have raided together. It has wrecked me a few times in our raiding history where, the night I played with you guys, we all got down to 6%, but then they went to clear it the next week, and then I'm like, well, do I even want to? That's where I kind of start feeling pressured, is if the people I'm running with already know the fight and do really well, and then I'm like... But then once in a while, it's also fun, because I get, like, the log back on, Yelta. We cannot find a healer who couldn't even do, the first floor. So I'll log back in and do it or whatever. And that feels good. So I don't know. It's complicated feeling. And maybe it shouldn't be. Because it's like, if you don't want to raid, don't raid. And I'm like, but I kind of want to raid. But I also kind of get stressed out by raiding. Or I feel unduly pressured sometimes. Or I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm failing my group if I screw up. I don't know. But I don't know. I look forward to, I'm like the next patch that's going to have like, I think they even said like extreme primal level content. So I look forward to that. And if Hades is the equivalent of Shinryu and Thoradin, then it's usually like the hardest one anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Except for I had trouble with Suzaku because you had to do that Dance Dance Revolutions, or not the Dance Dance part, but Simon section.
Simon Says. Mm-hmm.
I had trouble not because I didn't understand it, but I swear to God, it's my latency. So I'd be dead in the right spot, and I don't know. It sucks. And that's also the other thing that was making, and then part of this is maybe just me being crabby. I log in and try to do that Blue Mage, what am I at, 29? Because you have to do, or how many are there now, 30 or 35? I'm on the second to the last one, and I need Rays because a bunch of us want to go, and some of them might have already gone now. But we want to get those Blue Mage achievements because I want that mount. Mm-hmm. And I cannot. I have gotten further. I like survived taking down the hands and survived like the next part of the dance, and then I died. I don't know why, but I feel like I have to focus so hard on that, and screwing up at all, you just die. And I just get frustrated. I log in, try a few times, and then log out. And I'm just like, ugh. But I want to do the rest of the content. That I don't know. That level seems really hard, but I got stuck on other ones before. So I keep hoping if I go back in there, have a good day, maybe I can just get past it. But I don't know. But I've been really playing other games again. I've been a couple times a week playing Stardew Valley with my mom and my sister, and I'm probably further than I've ever been in that game before, or about as far. It's really fun to see. It's fun to play with them and chat with them and just kind of chill. It's a very chill game. You can like min-max every day, but you can also just be like, I'm just gonna fish today. Or, you know. And we all like doing different things in that game too. So it's like, I like take care of all the animals, and my sister Kariri, she's got like the big farm plots, so she's got like tons of crops, and she takes care of the greenhouse, and we have all this, we have so much money, all the ancient wine, and I like take care of all the cows and the chickens and the fish and stuff. So I'm having a really good time with that. And my mom is so cute because she never really played it before. She had tried playing it and just kind of didn't click with her, and she just kind of does her own thing now. She just kind of like logs in, and she's like, she finally built her stable, so she has a horse now, and she's kind of a chicken to go in the dungeons and stuff. So we finally just set up chests where if I've got gifts for Mom, I put them in this chest, and she like has the best sword in the game because Kariri bought it for her, and you know. But it's been a good time. Nice to wind down and play something kind of chill. It's hard, though, man, not to be like, one more day. I'll just play one more day. My schedule got changed on me, so 7 a.m. comes a lot sooner than 9:30 a.m.
Ugh.
Yeah. I didn't used to have to do anything at work till 9:30 in the morning. Now it's 7, and it's just like, I don't even know how to go to bed in time to be ready at 7. Kill me. I've also been playing a shit ton of modded Minecraft. I'm playing the Regrowth. It's a very old one. An old mod pack, but it's very fun and different, and I'm enjoying it. Of course, I'm running a server because I can't apparently run anything without running my own server. No one's playing with me, but it's fun. There's a lot of stuff I don't know how to do, though. I spend a lot of time, like, Googling how does this work, because I don't know all the mods individually, but I'm enjoying a lot working through my quest book and, you know, submitting my quests and moving on to the next step. And it's really interesting because basically the story is, in Minecraft, you wake up and the world is just desolate, and you have to regrow it. And it's kind of cool. I'm having a good time, though. I'm probably playing other stuff too. I couldn't tell you what it was right now, but just not kind of in a holding pattern for 14. We do have a Hades EX learning party, maybe clear party, I can't remember, learning party, I think Saturday night, so I'll probably attend or at least be on call for that, because I know that fight pretty well now, and I'm pretty comfortable, at least healing. I haven't tried anything else in there yet, but the Free Company does continue to do stuff. I know they just did a big push. Bell was like, he wants to build the next submarine parts, and he's like, wow, they're expensive. Apparently they already have like most of the stuff to do it, I think. I was like, oh, I'll log in and submit that stuff. By the time I got home from work, people were like, done.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's fast.
Yeah, but we have people who are still regularly playing a lot. That's great. No one is ever like, where are you, Yelta? Where are you, Ruby? But that's what I did this week. Listener, if you want, you can shoot the shit with us. Go to the website, www.GTFFXIV.com. Let us know what you've been doing. The first round is news. We have New Year's greetings, which I will be honest, I really didn't even read yet this year. Yoshi P wishes us a happy new year, and it was an important year with the third expansion. And he thanks all of us, the Warriors of Light. And so he's expressing his gratitude. He traveled overseas and meeting players, and the second orchestral concert was in Japan. Sounds like he's been everywhere. The dev teams were taking some time off of New Year, but the 5.x series is proceeding apace. Patch 5.8 was released at the end of the year, and most of 5.2 is now ready. From the start of the year, we'll be carrying out adjustments and testing for bugs before releasing patch 5.2 Echoes of a Fallen Star. We still haven't seen the art for that one, have we?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. That's planned for mid-February. I think. Are we getting another live letter before then? I think we are.
I do believe so.
Yeah. To bring a close to the critically acclaimed Shadowbringers, patches 5.2 and 5.3 form two halves of a single chapter. There's a lot of surprises in store for the first half, so please look forward to it. Speaking of surprises, I found a bizarre note on my desk, although its true meaning remains something of a mystery. For what are warriors of light, but earnest souls of good intent, resolved to do that which is right, regardless of the consequence? Okay, interesting. So,
What do you think that means?
I never even pretend to guess at any of these.
For what are warriors of light, but earnest souls of good intent? Okay, that's pretty standard. Resolved to do that which is right, regardless of the consequence. I mean, it seems pretty cut and dry. You know, warriors of light are people who are trying to do their best, regardless of what ends up happening. And it's, you know, that's pretty cut and dry. I don't know if you want to talk about this now, but there are some.
there were other translations, right? Is that
there
what you're
are.
talking about?
Yeah, our good friend and lore god Anonymous always breaks this stuff down year by year, and his post was up again on the 1st, and he's got the translations for English, which we just read to you, Japanese, German, and French. I'm gonna read them.
Yeah,
I think it's worth it. The Japanese says, throughout history, there have been numerous heroes. Warriors of light they have been called. However, if this is so, it is because they have dedicated themselves to others that they are called heroes, that they ought to be called warriors of light. Though, a little bit of a different meaning. It's because their dedication to helping others that they shall be known as the warriors of light. So it's by their deeds. It's not just by name, right? Mm-hmm. German. Now, I think this is where it gets interesting. The world has known many heroes, known as the warriors of light. He, too, who was dedicated to these lofty goals, is known by this name. Now, you could say the general sense of, I'm going to this third line here, the general sense of, he, too, who is dedicated to these goals is known by this name, so that any man who is dedicated to these goals shall be known as a warrior of light. But it could also be a specific person. And this is where some of the stuff, when I read this thread, goes into some
if we're talking a specific person, or if we're talking just in general.
Exactly. But to do it, give it its due, I'll read the French as well, although I'm more interested in the German. But French says, these heroes called warriors of light have succeeded one another over the years. Here's another he. He offered his body and souls for others, and so he too deserves this name. Now that may actually be a little more interesting than the German. Forgive me, French. But, and so he too deserves this name. That's a singular. That is not, you could say that's the plural, but I think you're getting into a real gray area. This looks more singular than plural. And then the comment from Anonymous seems to be about our familiar friend from The Stinger. So it gets wild. Yeah, I don't know. Is it Ardbert? Is it Elidibus? Is it somebody else? Or is it just the general sense? It's just us,
Yeah.
We'll see. But I mean, I had not read this full forum post either. I think I had skimmed and completely missed the first half of two chapters. That 5.2 and 5.3 are two halves of a single chapter. And that'll be that closeout. We typically do close out by the 0.3. So, that doesn't surprise me, but they're ready to kind of escalate this and I mean, does that close the chapter on Ascians? Are we done with Ascians after 5.3? We'll see.
Yeah, and I know some people are like, wow, it seems so soon and so fast, but my God, we've been following around. It's been Ascians how long now?
I mean, it's a meme. Sukalos with his hands up, instead of aliens, it's Ascians. And it's been this way for a long time.
Yeah. No, it'll be interesting to see what this really means, or if it even means what we think it means, or even after we find out what it is, that it even makes sense. Because sometimes they don't even make sense to me, even after the fact. Sometimes people are like, oh, that's what it meant. And I'm like, I'm too obtuse, I guess. I don't always get it.
Well, I always come up with some speculation that is completely off base. It doesn't fit in.
I'm too dumb to even speculate, though. It's just like, I don't know.
I don't know either. Let us not skip the end of this post, because I think there's some interesting stuff. And I don't mean the forum post. I'm sorry. Back to the original New Year's greeting. And if you don't mind, I'll read this last paragraph here. Yoshida says, we're now entering the 10th year since the release of 14. It's been 10 years since he's been involved with the project. As we step into a new decade, you can be sure there will be an amazing fan festival to mark the occasion. And we'll be working our socks off to bring you more epic adventures. Here's to a great 2020. Happy New Year. So let me reread. As we step into a new decade, you can be sure there'll be an amazing fan festival to mark the occasion. So is he saying there's a fan festival this year to mark the occasion of a new decade? Is Yoshida straight up just saying, yeah, for sure, there's a fan fest. It's happening.
They talked fan festival at the 14-hour broadcast, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is the second time in a couple weeks that they've mentioned it.
It's in black and white. So, I don't remember when 2 years ago we start getting that notification that, hey, Eventbrite's going to have, or whatever outfit they go with, is going to have this, that, and the other, and it's going to be in June or May or whenever it is. So, get your Xanax ready.
Oh my God!
Get your anti-anxiety meds ready. It's such a deal in my household right now. Not that we're arguing or anything like that. It's I have a baby that's going to be over 2 by the time this fan festival happens, and we're paying for 3 flights to carry a 2-year-old around Las Vegas to stand in a place. We went last time with the baby, and I wanted everybody that I knew. It was a good last hurrah, I feel like, in a sense, because people understand or know my and Cinna's relationship, how we met through this game, and now we are married with a child, and the people want to meet Alexander, and it was great. I loved it. I don't know that my wife and son, and this is her words, want to go to a fan fest, and as a family spend the money for all 3 of us to go. So it might be a solo deal for me when I go to fan fest, which takes a little anxiety off the ticket, but I mean it's just clicking 1 or 2. I guess it takes off the anxiety of misclicking at that first screen and you can't go back, which has plagued us in other years. But I'm not looking forward to the anxiety of buying tickets. That is the fucking worst part. And year over year, they brag about how many new players are here. There ain't no less people trying to buy a ticket every fan fest. It's pretty rough. So anyway, that's a deal. But let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'm already mildly anxious about it. If anybody listeners know that, in past years I have not gotten a ticket the first round the tickets came out. And Yeah, that shit's scary. And you bought my tickets for me. Was it last year or last time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I can't remember. I know you bought my tickets for me
a couple
one
years
of the
back,
years.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, because I could not get through on multiple browsers.
I think it was the second Fan Fest.
Yeah,
there were tears. Yeah.
I was like at work, literally shaking. Oh no.
Yeah, I have to take those days off. I have to be off that day.
I might have to consider that because Jesus Christ, what's a big deal? And maybe we're making it out to be too much of a big deal, but
Maybe so.
I don't do that much stuff in my life, right? So going to Vegas and getting to not only experience the Fan Fest itself, but to get to hang out with other fans of the game, and then the last time to go to an even after party. I mean, that was a big deal too. It was, it's a big deal for me, I guess. All right, we also have some news that Final Fantasy XIV sponsors Games Done Quick 2020. I didn't even know what this was. I saw the tweet. Somebody's like, sometimes I forget GDQ is sponsored by Final Fantasy XIV, and every time it catches me off guard when I hear the commercial. So you're the one who looked up what this is. Oh, yeah. Well, Games Done Quick's been around for a while. I can't remember if this is the one that has controversy year after year with... I think there were some. It's a speedrunning deal. It's a speedrunning deal for. It's a fundraising for charity programs, and you speedrun to do it. And there has been some nasty speedrunners in the past. There's one that if it honks like a goose, you know what I'm talking about. That say some nasty comments and things of that nature. And so there's been some controversy in years past, I think, with people who have appeared on this. That being said, I'm not saying that the organization itself is wrong. But Games Done Quick, let me read it from their website. Games Done Quick is a charity fundraising organization that raises money for charity via speedrunning. Volunteers play games at incredible speed, speedrunning, for entertainment. The event is streamed live, online, nonstop, and all donations go directly to the charity. Games Done Quick events feature runners playing games from every generation of gaming history. They play their games live, in person, and explain in detail the many tricks and glitches they use to get the fastest times. So, speedrunning's a deal. It's big. There's I watch a lot of speedrun videos. In fact, I watch a lot of YouTubers that talk about speedrunning, talk about how things are done. I think there's this guy named Apollo or something. I watch his stuff. And then you get in kind of the funny stuff. There's the meme about the guy that while somebody is playing like Banjo-Kazooie or something like this, the kid won't shut up the entire time until the guy playing the game is like, will you please just shut your fucking mouth or something to him? No. And this is like on live TV or whatever. This is on a live stream. The guy just has to sit there in silence. That guy's got a history. But anyway, Games Done Quick. It's got its funny moments. It's got its controversial moments. But 14 is on the banner. So I click on the website and, you got Annapurna Interactive. You got Red Bull, and then bam, Final Fantasy 14. Click the link, and it takes you right there to the site. And I'm not sure. Let's see. Oh, okay. This year, Games Done Quick 2020 benefits the Prevent Cancer Foundation. Again, the Prevent Cancer Foundation. It's one of the nation's leading voluntary health organizations and the only U.S. nonprofit focused solely on cancer prevention and early detection. So that's a deal, and then there's ways you can donate directly or, I guess maybe minutes that they play. I'm sure it's kind of like one of those things. You remember like in high school, you had to walk so many times around the track or you jump rope for heart or something like that. They speed run for heart, speed run for cancer. So anyway, good cause. Check it out if you are interested. Looks pretty cool. I'm clicking around the site. A lot of donations and stuff. It's cool. I looked at the schedule. There's like some fun games on here. It might be fun to watch someone play. Let me watch Battletoads. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Very cool. It's nice that Final Fantasy XIV is popular enough that, they would sponsor it and be on the main bar. I mean, I know it is a small indie company, please understand. Yes, but with a great community. I do want to say it's kind of odd, like 14 is... I get the charity part. Good on them. But it's a speedrunning competition. They still haven't put in
those timers for dungeons.
No.
You know, at one time they talked about putting like a timer at the end of the dungeon. You could kind of speed run a dungeon or whatever. You know, now they just make it where there's blocks between each pull, so you can't speed run through something.
Yeah. All right. There was a tweet, updates on Final Fantasy live action TV series in the works. This person tweets Rayhira_FFXIV. Friendly reminder that Final Fantasy XIV is getting a live action series by the same production team as The Witcher. So who knows? It might actually be all right. I still need to see the visuals before I can even believe it's still happening. And she added, Jake Thornton is also screenwriting it, so I've been stalking following his account for a while for any possible tidbits/updates. Jake Thornton comes back with, hi, updates. The script is finished and we all love it. We're having some concept art done for it, and Sony, he's on the hunt for directors. I hope to, have more for you soon. I haven't seen The Witcher, but I've heard good things now.
I've watched 3 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Great. Yeah, it's great. You can binge watch it all on Netflix right now if you want to. It's a great series. Kind of dark, but it's pretty good. It's no Mandalorian. No, I see a lot of people fighting each other. Like, Witcher's better, Mandalorian's better. Who fucking cares?
Oh my
Watch
God.
them both.
Can't you just enjoy things? Not everything has to be fucking ranked. Stop liking what I don't like.
But my dick is the longest. Anyway, yeah, this has been going on for some time. They've talked about this article that I posted in here is from June 27th of last year. Can you believe that? Last year,
wow.
2019. But this is when they talked about, hey, it's coming. Just in short here, HiveMind, which produces The Expanse for Amazon and is currently working on the Witcher series, will co-produce the upcoming adaptation of the popular role-playing games. It says games, plural. Mm-hmm. Calm Your Chocobos. The iconic long-running role-playing Final Fantasy is coming to television. Sony Pictures Television, Square Enix, and production company HiveMind will produce the live-action TV series, which will center on an original story set in the world of Eorzea, first introduced in the online game Final Fantasy XIV. There's much more here that's in it. Yes, there'll be airships and magic and chocobos, a version of Sid, colorful characters. While the TV series will be the first live-action adaptation, a number of animated feels. But oh yeah, they bring up Spirits Within. Yeah, let's hope this is not Spirits Within. The only thing cool about Spirits Within was that watch, and I wanted one of those watches so bad. Oh God. Anyway, I hope this is good. The Witcher is good. Let's hope this is good. Let's not get our expectations too wildly out for this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I seriously doubt it's going to be Ardbert and Company or Derplander and Company. It's probably going to be generic warrior, generic handsome warrior.
Probably going to be its own standalone story.
Right.
And I don't know. It would almost have to be separate from our MSQ, kind of even, right?
Sure. Unless they do some kind of hodgepodge. Maybe this is where they streamline 2.0 for us, right? Like, every episode's a different primal. Like, damn, you got through Ramuh and Leviathan quick. So maybe it'll be something like that. And Witcher's, I think, 10 episodes? It could be 8. Could be. But I don't foresee this being longer than 10 episodes. It may be 8. So if you had 8-hour-long episodes, Game of Thrones Season 8 couldn't do 10 hour-long episodes. So I don't know. I don't know how many they'll do. I don't know how good this will be. If it's just fucking 6 episodes at like 30 minutes, I don't know how you could even pull that off. That's way too short. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. Hope it's good.
Well, and live action. I'm like, how are you? Live action all over different races. That could be interesting.
Have you seen Cats?
Or it could be traumatic. People are already like, what is a live action Lalafell going to look like?
Oh, but honey, they got the technology. Cats came out. You got Mikote right there. It's
just the stuff of nightmares, and it sounded like it was terrible.
This might be good. What if have you seen the little clip of the women dressed as cockroaches, and then the what's her name, Rebel Wilson? She's a cat, and she hits the table, and a cockroach falls in her mouth. Then the table flips over. She jumps on top of the table, unzips her body, which another body is underneath wearing clothes.
What?
It's a fucking fever
What are
dream.
you
It's like a
talking
Robitussin
about?
nightmare. It's a robo-tripping nightmare.
Oh my God.
And
Robitussin.
for sure. Anyway, it's nuts, and I hope our Lalafell look like the cockroaches from. No, I don't know. It could be crazy. It could be nuts.
Speaking
They can't
of
play
luck.
it safe. They can't. Here's what I'm.
Oh,
this is
they
my
have
last
to
comment.
go in. It's go big or go home.
Exactly. You got to go Sonic movie original CGI level of horror if you want to do this. Made some fucked up Marlboros. Like just
Thanks.
some
Now
weird...
there's rum all over my keyboard.
You're welcome.
Oh my
There's
God.
just all kinds of shit. Just make it
Oh
just
my God.
terrible. Sid's teeth from 11 kind of shit. Oh, I want. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, is it going to be pre or post calamity? Does Sid have a beard?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my God.
I do want to bring up very briefly. I read some news today that Final Fantasy's mobile game, this thing that they've been kicking around, something with this mobile game, is actually going to be something for Final Fantasy 15 and not
my
Final
God,
Fantasy
no.
11. And
Just
people
where?
are not happy.
I'm gonna go buy stock in torches and pitchforks. Jesus Christ!
How
15. Oh,
How much are you going to shove down Final Fantasy 15 down our throats?
Oh my
I am
God.
so tired of Final Fantasy 15.
well, and how do you think I feel? I didn't even like it. I mean, some people liked it. I don't even like it. They've already canceled multiple 15 projects, haven't they?
Oh yeah,
Expansions
yeah. I
and
mean,
DLC or some shit.
and of course, those are the one. It's just like all this controversy with the new Star Wars movie. It's like people didn't get what they wanted because they canceled, Luna Freya's thing and somebody else's, and they kept Arden's, and they're like, well, now we can't see our favorite character do their thing and burn it to the ground. Terrible.
God, no, I have not seen this. So this is like new news that this, because I thought they were doing a Final Fantasy 11. Is that the mobile thing they were supposed to be doing, or is this something else?
Yeah. Well, I mean, years ago, they had talked about doing, I think, an 11 mobile game, Grandmasters, I think it was, and then that kind of went belly up. But then there was kicking around another 11 game, and everybody thought, oh, they're going to patch this. They're going to move this over to mobile, and everybody's going to be able to play a version of 11 mobile. And then
we saw screenshots of that and
died.
everything.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, some beautiful
Yeah.
screenshots. I think of Port Juno and stuff. Yeah. I think, and I'm getting this news pretty from work to game. I'm reading Brian's Twitter. So if you want to check out more, work to game as a video, said new Final Fantasy MMORPG incoming MMO news. And I think he talks about the 15 stuff in here. So we shall see.
Wow. I don't even have words. All right, you want to take some shots?
Well, briefly, only because, and I say briefly because it's a short topic. It's about Lalafell. It's a short topic for me because I think it's beating a dead horse. And I look at threads like this as basically a dog whistle for potential
Oh, no, this is
predators.
one where people want to play younger characters.
Yeah.
Is that this one? Oh,
Yeah.
God, no. The short answer is no, and the long answer is no.
Mm-hmm. Like, Vader
God.
busting out of the machinery. No. It's terrible. And that's why I say it's kind of a dog whistle for, let's see who wanders in here and what they have to say. Of course, you got the comments of like the ethics and whatever. You got the gifts of, here,
Even
boy,
if you
here we
take
go.
sexuality completely off the table, right? Let's just pretend, you're still the fucking warrior of light. You're not going to do that as a 12 or 8-year-old. I'm sorry.
Right. You've got some people in here that want, elven body types and things of that nature. So they want to play Zalfino and Alizé or whatever. But Yoshida's flat out said, we're not doing this. There is potential for abuse. And we already had saw the backlash whenever the Reen model thing happened. That was totally uncalled for.
Well, even not the model. People were just drawing her. I thought it just looked cute. Other people said it was perverted. Right? So
I saw a nude. I saw a nude mod. Yelta.
No, I've seen the nude mod.
Oh, okay,
I'm just saying, not even to that level. People are already, they get cranky at a cute drawing and say it's perverted. I mean, I couldn't imagine what people would come up with, and it would be in game, and it would be legit screenshots. It would be oh my god. I also love that the obligatory meme post is in this thread, that this will be the 6th time we have created this thread, and we have become exceedingly efficient at it from the Matrix. That's because this one's been hammered into the ground multiple times now. Wow.
Mm-hmm. I think this spilled over onto Twitter because, again, there's those bots that tweet, parts of headlines, and then, when an official forum post gets kind of out there, it ends up finding its way on Twitter and other mediums, Reddit and such. And I think some even grosser comments were out there, justifying the drawing of new children and things of that nature. And so, we're not going to get too deep in the weeds here, but this is one of those there's a clear-cut line, and why they draw it is because people want to push beyond that boundary to see how far they can get. And to me, it's a dog whistle when you read some of the posts in here. You're like, oh no, I'm making that face. My nose is all crinkled up. I'm like, no.
Well, and I don't know why we have to keep having this discussion either, because they've already said, no, we're not going to do it. We don't even have the other sexes of 2 races, and they can't wear hats. I mean, you think they're going to start making, even if let's pretend everyone was pure and just wanted to play these cute characters. They've already said we're not getting in. This would be the same thing as more races. There would be more character models. They're not going to do it.
This thread goes into how Urianger would be an autistic character when you get to page 21. What? So I'm kind of done. I'm done with this thread. God. Moving on from this, you can see how topics of this nature seem to derail. 22 posts. 22 pages of posts so far. And when did this start? This was on the 2nd, and today is the 8th. Oh, there you go. And that's not to mention the other revolving number of official forum threads. We were talking before the show started about I should set a schedule by how these just rotate. It's just the same bullshit over and over about I don't know. I don't see one about Eggy Glamours up here, but how Chemist needs to be the next healer and how we need to fix X tank because I don't like this, and why don't we have in-game parsers?
What was the one about they should always make the off tank automatically second on the hate list? I wondered.
Oh, now that was a special one I read today. This one was really good. So it was the off tank. They gave the example of I guess it was a healer that was in an 8-man, some sort of content. The main tank died, and the off tank was not second on the hate list. And so therefore some other character who was second on the hate list died. Therefore, Yoshida-san, please make it that the off tank is automatically second on the hate list no matter what. Fuck a toggle, fuck provoke, fuck flash, or whatever else that you got in your kit. They shouldn't have to
push their buttons. Well then, if a tank's almost going to die, my character should just automatically freely benediction them without me pushing a button.
Oh, obviously. Yes.
Obviously.
And you remove positional requirements. Your healing positional requirements. Yeah. Just kidding. But you're that one's kicking around. That one's picked up speed again. Remove positionals. That is one though. I could see him doing it. I really going back all the way back to an hour ago when I was talking about the dumbing down. I'll make this short. When you see threads like this, the millennials are killing healing. I know that's a troll. When I see a thread that says Do you think they'll remove positionals? I go, probably. And is the game better or worse for it? Well, you can make an argument that the game would be better for it because people don't do the positionals anyway or whatever. But then where's the skill ceiling?
Where's the skill ceiling and different than the skill floor? This makes me absolutely, completely fucking angry. Mm-hmm. Most of the positionals, some of the ones that were like a bit extreme, they have, softened some of them. And then, a lot of the bosses don't even have a back or flank, so everything always counts. And then some of it's just good team play. If the tanks it in the right place. When I'm playing a tank, I try to make sure that my melee can... I can't keep track of which melee have what positionals. So I always try to make sure that the melee can get to the rear and the flank without standing in bad. Right? Mm-hmm. I think that's just using my brain while I'm playing the game.
Sure.
And then if they want to do their positionals, they'll have better damage. And, it's a group effort to make sure that, they can always hit their positionals. But just to take them away, it's like, why? That's like the only gimmick with the melee, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, other than whatever flashiness, my pole flashes versus my fist flash versus, my sword flashes or whatever. Positionals, but I was reading comments like samurais didn't even know they had positionals, and somebody's like, well, they don't tell you till level 52 anyway, so like maybe you don't know you have positionals until some other point, and
suddenly it can get confusing when they change stuff. I have
suddenly
to
you
have
have
back and
positionals.
reread my stuff.
And it's like all things. This game doesn't start until 50 at least. Then you start getting some abilities that start going to something. But with every new expansion, it really doesn't start until whatever level for that expansion because they've retconned all the abilities and stuff. There's no like, okay, I got this new 50 ability that's awesome. Yeah, one time it was, but now they've mishmashed everything. So there's not like, it doesn't feel the same when you hit the 50, 60, 70, maybe 70 because 70 to 80 probably has that, that tier. But that's that last ramp up. So it always just feels like every new expansion, and it'll happen again when they raise it to 90, 80 to 90 will feel like, whoa, my job just turned into something. But 1 to 70 or 1 to 80 in that scenario will just be like, okay, and they'll probably go back and, they'll mix it all up. It doesn't feel the same. That's why those little class quests feel weird when you do them. Like, why can't I beat this? Why does this seem so hard? Why is this super easy? It's because they changed all those abilities and stuff. So, yeah, I don't even remember the original point I was trying to make there, Yelta, but, I'm sure it was there somewhere.
Oh, I don't know, man. It was the positionals. Should they remove them? It's just, I think there still needs to be, all jobs should be reasonably easy, I would think, to play at a basic level. Pretty much anyone should be able to have the competence to get through a normal dungeon, maybe an expert roulette, that kind of thing. But there should be ways to play good and to play better. I mean, we know we can drag completely brain dead people through dungeons, but, there should be a way to push my buttons okay so I can get through the dungeon, or good so we're doing well, and then just really, really good play, or perfectly hitting rotations and positionals and using the right AoEs and just the right pushing buttons good. But there's got to be a difference between pushing buttons good and just rolling your drooling chin across the keyboard.
Yeah, I feel like that was the argument with the PvP. Like, they gutted PvP and, slimmed it down at one point to where it was like 5 different abilities and maybe some cross-class stuff. And then everybody's like, come on, give us some stuff. And they've slowly added some stuff back, but it's never like it was originally where it was like, you just you had it all. You had everything. And it was just some crazy shit, that part is missed. And maybe for better or worse, maybe PvP's better overall for it, but sometimes the streamlining, when you streamline something, are you dumbing it down or are you making it better? Changing the 1, 2, 3 to a 1, 1, 1, is that going to streamline? It's fun in PvP to hit 1, 1, 1, but is that what we need? Does it make much of a difference? I don't
prefer
know.
That the situations would make a difference on which one I should hit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? To me, my dream would be that. Don't make it so, 1, 2, 3 is always the combo. Maybe it should be 1, 2, 3. Maybe it should be 1, 3, 6, depending on stuff.
procs or whatever it takes.
Yeah, or sometimes that you do the one first because it applies a bleed, and then you do the second one. I don't know. Mm-hmm. There should be something that allows for skillful play,
right?
Because this game is pretty easy. I mean, to be honest, the game just leveling up and even getting through like EX primals is pretty easy. I don't know. You can get pretty far in this game and not have a clue what you're doing. That's
the problem.
Mm-hmm. All right. I could go on, but I'm now tired and weary of that discussion. I think we are ready to wrap it up. I think.
Yeah, I don't want to dig through the official forums any longer.
I could just keep going, and it would just not serve anyone. All right, then. I guess it's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You can find links to all of our episodes and blog posts on our website, www.gtffxiv.com. While you're there, please leave us a comment. If you'd like to, you can support us by clicking the donation button. You can find us on Twitter at GTFFXIV. You can email us at gtffxiv@gmail.com. Please rate us. Personal plugs, Ruby.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at Rubicon Vale, RUBICONVALE.
And you can find me on Twitter also at Yelta Sumasu, YELTASUMASU. As always, thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.